pronounce properly. But isn't it? How are you? Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me again. It's so great to be on the Jack Show.
Thank
Thank you,
you. You're
Nini.
welcome. Thank you for agreeing to come back. Time used to fly, so we couldn't finish last time, and I'm happy that we have the opportunity to. But please, I'd love for you to properly introduce yourself to the people so they know who they're speaking with or listening to, rather.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. My
Mm-hmm.
name is Ezine Hiyonuniku, like you rightly said. I'm a senior
Mm-hmm.
executive data analyst and brand strategist. I
Mm-hmm.
work in the marketing communications industry
Okay.
with one of the leading media agencies in Nigeria. Yeah.
Whoop whoop.
So
Okay, that's nice.
I'm also a mom, a wife, and of course, a little of other things like a daughter and
Mm-hmm,
other
mm-hmm.
stuff. But yes,
Absolutely.
thank you.
Thank you for letting us know a little bit about you. We've been discussing, isn't it, and handling pressure. And this is, I think, this will be the second time having this particular conversation, continuing from where we left off the last time. And so, could we just maybe do a quick, very brief recap of what we addressed, for that person who wasn't tuned in that day but is tuned in today? So do you want to quickly run us through some of your thought processes, isn't it, on handling pressure? Then we'll progress into the other parts of the conversation.
Okay, of course, we talked about we talked about how to handle stress and some certain aspects of how you can manage stress. One of the things we talked about was mindset,
Okay.
having a positive mindset,
Mm-hmm.
not to see stress as it is, but I mean, be positive about it
Mm-hmm.
in a way. Try to see the better side of it. That was one thing we said. We also talked about you can begin again,
Mm.
unrealistic goals, and or better still, possibly they were even realistic goals, but you're not able to meet them.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as you have an opportunity to see another day, then you can start again.
Mm.
So that's one of the things we talked about again. So we also talked about time management, basically organization, you know, learning how to schedule things. We talk about the time quadrant, when you're able to um, put timings and timelines to certain tasks, it helps you to, so to say, celebrate when you're able to finish a task and
Okay.
then know which one you can finish, we cannot finish within an allotted time. So
Mm-hmm.
those are some of the things we talked about handling pressures.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you very much for that run brief recap. And one of the things that stood out to me was, the ability to start again, or you seeing that there are opportunities to start again or pick up from where you left off, on certain things. I wanted to mention that we are streaming live on YouTube at Nigeria Info FM. So you can head on to Nigeria Info FM's YouTube and you can catch us live there as well. You can subscribe as well, and please leave a comment while you are there. So I remember particularly one of the things you wanted to talk about the last time was the God factor in all of this. So please, let's, kick off from there.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about how, I mean, naturally, I wanted to say that life is really stressful. I mean, the
Mm.
economy is breathing down our necks.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things are not the way it used to be. And it's natural to even be stressed just by even thinking about Nigeria and the economy, not to talk about all the other things that are stressing you, like
Mm-hmm.
family. We talked about also stress can be internal and external,
Yeah.
so sometimes it could be there are a lot of other things stressing you out. And then, so basically, thinking about Nigeria is enough to keep you or make you stressed.
Yeah, you're
But
right.
then I wanted to highlight the importance of having God in the midst of all of this.
Okay.
I was given an example of myself. I have to juggle a lot of things, being a mom, a career woman, a wife, a daughter, and all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
And then there were times that, I mean, I wanted to give an example of a particular day I had something very, very important to do. I had a lot to do that particular day. I think I remember that particular example.
Mm-hmm.
And then I woke up in the midnight, and because I'm a person that likes to meet expectations, especially when it has to do with work or certain things I have to do,
Mm.
I sometimes even walk into the night.
Okay.
So I woke up that day by 3 a.m. and I realized, oh, I had a competition. I think I was preparing for a competition that time. It was sometime in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
I was preparing for a competition, a very important one that could take me out of the country. And then I also had some client expectations that I needed to deliver on.
Sounds
The
good.
competition presentation was around 2 p.m. there about. I had not even prepared my slides. I had no idea. I mean, you had to present an idea to solve a problem.
Okay.
That was what the competition was about. And I had a client expectation that I also needed to respond to. And the client needed that feedback, I mean, before morning. And so I was in between. What am I supposed to do? How do I respond to this? I don't even have an idea to present for, and all of that. And then the Holy Spirit said something sweet to me. He said, just take some time out to pray. And I felt, okay, God, you know all the things I have lined up to do. But then if you're asking me to do this, let me see how, and then I took my time, did had some time of fellowship in the morning, and then when I did that, I felt so refreshed, and that's where I'm going to, that's where the God factor comes in. Stress can take a toll on your mind, your body, and everything that some people even break down from stress. A lot of things happen to people. But there's something refreshing about the presence of God. There's something refreshing about when God comes into the situation. So, I mean, back to what I was trying to say, and then after that it was just a short time of fellowship. And then he told me, okay, respond to your client request first. You know that one is a bit more urgent and all. And then I took my time, responded to it. And I mean, it was so surprising. And in a couple of minutes, I was done with the request. And when I was done with that, okay, I started thinking of what to put together for my competition. And while I was thinking and then I just felt like a breathing within my mind, and an idea shot up from my belly. I knew that idea couldn't have come from me. It was so good. And then my slides were done. I had the idea already, so it was easy for me to put my slides together. And I had one of the best presentations, in fact, the best, because I actually won that competition.
Yay, congratulations. This is such a beautiful testimony.
I love it. So, and I got the opportunity to travel out, and then took it a top-notch higher. So yes, all expense paid. It was one of the most beautiful times. But I can't forget that day because I knew that idea did not come from me. But my point was, for the fact that God was in the middle of it, it was easier to manage. It was easier not to be stressed. This could have made me extremely stressed, but it was easier to manage the situation. So that's where I wanted to go. That there's something refreshing about having God. In any way you want to do it, just if you could be like, I'm going to break down now, and then just take some, like maybe 5 minutes. Sometimes it doesn't have to be a lot. Take 5 minutes away. It could just be, say, a prayer, meditate, just, look at it from a lens of, and from how God would think God would want you to look at it. And then you'll find out that you would have a better reaction to some of the things that are stressing you. Yeah.
Thank you. I think there's someone here to hear that. Thank you so much for sharing. And that's such a beautiful story. And then you went ahead to win the competition. Oof. Okay, to God. Thank God for that. And you won this competition twice, if I remember correctly?
Yes, I did. I won it in 2021. 2021 was a COVID year, so we couldn't go out. We couldn't travel it was the Cannes Young Lion competition. I mean, Cannes is a place of is the home of creativity in the advertising space, So I won the competition in 2021, but we couldn't travel. So I mean, God was like, no, this girl, you have to go.
You have to get the full experience.
You get. So I won it in 2022 again, and I got an opportunity to travel
back to back winners.
Yeah. So
I'm sure you now decided 2023. Let me allow somebody else to shine.
No, of course, please. Somebody else has to shine.
No, only you work out. That's lovely. That's fantastic. Awesome. The God factor, something very important to me personally, and I highly recommend, just as you have as well. You have no idea, how we could help you any and every time. All right. So we've talked about, a couple of factors and things people could consider when handling pressure. And one thing we mentioned or highlighted 2 weeks ago when we talked was the fact that the time of year that we find ourselves in somehow comes with pressure, internal or external, or there's just some pressure of what I did or did not achieve this year, how we want the next to be better, which is a great thing, but what would you advise? Just two questions. What would you advise someone who is currently feeling a bit low, disappointed in his or herself because they didn't do what they wanted to this year? That's the first question let me ask before we now go ahead to the next question.
Okay, so I mean, one of the first things that I know that a lot of people do towards the end of the year is take stock. So, take stock of my life, how have I performed? And so sometimes it could just be a person who has taken stock. I set some goals at the beginning of the year and I'm not able to meet up with them. And now it's making you feel low. Hey, brace up, you know, brace up for the fact that you are possibly, I mean, there might be people listening to us from Nigeria, maybe not even in Nigeria, but for the fact that you can hear me, it means you're alive, So brace up, be thankful first. One of the things, and somebody said something about depression. One of the highlights of depression is silence, loneliness, and quietness.
Okay.
Depression wants to keep you away from people. Depression wants you focused on yourself and the negatives. I wasn't able to do this. My life isn't where it's supposed to be. My health isn't, and a lot of other things. But basically, depression doesn't see the good. It doesn't see the good in anything. And that's one of the things that feeling negative does, or feeling low. It's a step. It's a step to get to depression. Most times, people that are feeling low from certain things they haven't done, they are just possibly some steps away from depression. And one of the things you don't want to do is keep quiet. Positive talk is very important in handling pressure. I mean, speaking to yourself, tell yourself,
Affirmation.
it has happened, but I can, affirmation. Thank you so much. Speak to yourself, tell yourself, I wasn't able to achieve this, but it doesn't mean I can't do it again. I'm alive. That's enough reason. I have two legs, I have two hands. And even if you have one, I am alive. It means I can do something. There's something I'm sorry to say this, but there's somewhere the Bible says that let the living praise the Lord.
Yeah.
So for the fact that you're alive, it means that there's just one thing to be thankful for. Just one thing. So one of the first ways to come out of feeling low is gratitude. I mean, you could maybe list out one or two things. You could possibly just something. It could be one thing, but be thankful for even if it's one thing. Be thankful. Once you're thankful, or once you're able to find something to be thankful for, then start speaking to yourself. Positive affirmations are powerful. Like, they are powerful. Speak it up with this year, but it doesn't mean I can't try again. It doesn't mean I can't move again. So positive talk is powerful. Another is taking stock. So once you are able to come out of feeling low, then start taking stock. Okay, I was able to do this, do this. And then once you have itemized the things you were able to do or not do, then it helps you, write down steps. Okay, I wasn't able to do this. What can I do to be able to do this? Or what can I do differently? How can I handle this differently? What step can I take differently? Do I need to talk to somebody? Do I need to join an accountability group? Do I need to make myself accountable to someone? Anything, but take stock and then find a way to do things differently. It would help you feel positive. Then another thing is, I mean, I've been hearing this a lot, but I think we need to emphasize on it. Celebrate small wins. And when I mean small wins, it doesn't have to be big. If you could wake up the next day not feeling as low as you felt the other day, it's a win. You are one step away from depression already. So I mean, celebrate it. I'm not feeling as low as I felt yesterday. You wake up tomorrow again. Oh, I'm feeling better than I even felt. It's a win. Of recent, just to wrap up this question, my response to this question, of recent, I woke up one morning this week. I mean, we've been working it's been so much pressure at work of recent. I mean, also
end of the year.
I'm telling you, it's a lot. The advertising spaces is
very busy,
rummaging with so much noise, very busy now, So I woke up that day around 5:30 a.m. Of course, I had to pay my son. I was so tired, exhausted. I did not want to get out of bed that day. I was almost thinking of, okay, what should I call them and tell them at work? But I just stood up. I'm like, isn't it? Just shower. Once you shower, say something, get an opportunity, some time of prayer, you feel better. And immediately I finished showering, praying in between somehow. But immediately I finished showering, I don't even know where strength came from. I felt on my feet again. and I was
Put me
grateful.
first.
I can't forget it. So my point is celebrate small wins. It was small, but I can't forget it. I mean, it was a small thing, but for the fact that I was able to get out of bed and still go about everything I needed to do, it was a win for me. So let me stop here. Thank you.
That's beautiful. I mean, so many lessons in that response. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to the GX Show 99.3 Nigeria Info. My guest is Ezinne. We're talking about handling pressure. My name is Onyinechi Ekumankama, and it's interesting. She shared so many things. She's talked about taking stock. So the question was, if you feel like you've not done what you wanted to, and you're looking at the year closing or winding down, and you're feeling low and a bit disappointed in yourself, take stock. First of all, let's even have a review and assessment. How did we do this year? Take what you did, what you didn't do. That also helps you re-strategize, see where you went wrong, what you could have done better, how you can do that better, going forward. Talked about, sometimes celebrating small wins as often as possible. Celebrating small wins doesn't necessarily mean you have to spend money or, do something grand. Just a little pat on your back, just a little acknowledgement of, I did that, well done to me, is you celebrating a win. And isn't it the next thing I was going to ask, even as we begin to wind down and round off the conversation is, you've already started giving those steps is, okay, so what are some actionable points that, one can take going into this new year? I know that one of the things you mentioned that it really helps in this conversation, and something that one of the many gifts that motherhood brought your way is organization, and how you've been able to use, it's come in handy. I've heard this, that, someone that is not organized, when you become a parent, by fire by force, you'll be organized, whether you like it or not. If you were not organized before,
exactly.
parenthood will make you
I'm
organized.
telling you, to teach you organization.
Exactly. So, and like you said, even in your personal life, you've been able to, take that lesson into other areas, work and, etc. And it's really helped. So this organization that we're talking about, what does it look like? Does it look like sitting down, let's even write some goals for the next year? Or does it look like, I'm just going to wing it. Let me see how this year goes. And let me see wherever I find myself, I make it work. Does it look like making a timetable for your day-to-day activities? This time to this time, I wake up, I pray, I shower, I eat, I clean, I do this. What does organization look like? It's such a be organized. But realistically speaking, in a few minutes, please, because I see we have like 6 minutes to go, the way this time flies.
Okay.
What does organization look like, and how can we apply it?
Thank you so much. Organization is a big word, or it seems, we use that in business, in the business space and all of that. But it's very simple. It's just being able to itemize tasks, being able to itemize what you need to do in certain time. You understand? Basically putting time to everything you have to do. That's what I would, just in a layman's term, to explain what organization is about, or what organization is. So what I would say in simple terms is, time management is an extreme part or important part of organization. Like I said, organization is putting down specific things you have to do with certain timelines fixed to it or added to it. So I want to do this to do this. I want to go to the market within now and now. I want to do this to this. I want to take care of my son. I want to go out. Basically, it's just putting timelines to specific things you have to do.
Sorry.
And one of the major skill that facilitates organization is time management. You have to understand that time is your greatest asset or your greatest resource. It is your time. It is your time. I think we need to understand that it is your time, and you can choose what to do with your time. You can choose what is important or what should feature within your time. Of course, I know you work, you respond to people, but the truth at the end of the day is it is your time. So you can choose what would feature within your time. And that is why organization is very important, because you get to organize what can feature or what you want to achieve or do within your time or within specific timelines that you have. Something that is very important I want to highlight is to also manage pressure. We talked about seeing things positively, but something that we do not emphasize a lot is the ability to say no sometimes. Saying no is very important, and I plan to do that a lot in 2025. In fact, it is one of my goals for 2025. Say no.
Interesting.
Say no. It's so underrated, because the truth is, it's also a very, very important task or technique to help you manage stress. So as much as I'm a very, very, I have an extreme can-do attitude. I like to want to try things. I want to go the extra mile, push myself. But to be honest, I think there are times that we should take a break. Taking a break, that's one of the things we talked about, taking stock. So organization, a big important part of organization is also saying no. When you look at what you have done or what you feel you need to do, and there are things that you think you can delegate, or possibly it's not so extremely important at this time, I can say no to this. Please do that. It will also help boosting your positive mindset towards managing time, organization and handling stress. Awesome. Okay, let me stop here. I don't want to exceed
so
time.
much. Thank you. That was very concise and made a lot of sense. I appreciate your time and your contribution. Stopped at a good time because now we actually have to round off and begin to say our goodbyes and make way for the next show. But in 30 seconds, is there anything you'd like to add to everything you said today that you want someone to take away from the show?
Okay, just to say, next year, start again, begin again, and be positive about it. You can do all things. You can, and when I mean all things, please, within the sphere of what you want to achieve.
Okay.
But
focus.
You can do all things. Focus. Take your time and start again. But there's an opportunity. Please don't let it pass you. 2025 is an opportunity. You can start again. That's what I want to say.
Thank you so much, Ezine. This has been fantastic. Always, always fantastic. They say time flies when you're having a good time, right? And I feel like this show started 2 minutes ago. Thank you so much. Thank you. Super appreciate your time. Please, my regards to your beautiful family. Thank you once again. How can we follow you on social media? How can we keep up with you?
Okay. Please, you can follow me on social media. I think I'm becoming a bit more active on LinkedIn. So my name is Ezine on LinkedIn. So you can follow me on LinkedIn.
I sound like I'm a serious person. Now you sound like a very... Yes, please, LinkedIn. But
yes, I'm trying to be more... I'm trying to put more content out there about myself. So you can follow me on LinkedIn, Ezine Eze. On Facebook as well, Ezine Rose. My middle name is Eze. My Instagram page, it's not really my name. So, but it's something to work on. So it's part of my 2025 goals as well.
Please,
thank you.
LinkedIn is, a place for professionals to be at. So, and the things you're sharing, I'm sure it'll be nice to hear you share these nuggets from your experiences and have a place where we could see them and, go back to whenever we need, that reference. Thank you once again, Ezine. God bless you. To my listener, thank you so much for tuning in. Emmanuel is up next with travel and culture. My name is Onyinechi Ekumankama. I'll be back at 11 a.m. Stay tuned. Bye.
.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk. 99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio.